Hey, welcome back everybody. In today's video, we're going to be working on my Model A. It has a starter problem. I'll see if I can hook a battery up to it and replicate it. It's kind of a every now and then problem where the starter wants to engage and then it cranks the engine over a couple of revolutions, but then it actually doesn't ever start. So it's hit and miss, but it's gotten to the point where it's obnoxious enough or annoying enough that I'm going to pull the starter off. And we've got a spare starter that I'm going to throw on it in the meantime, but I'm going to take this one that's on it. I'm going to take it home and try to rebuild it and see if I can get it operating correctly again. So let's do this together. It'll be a learning experience. Okay, I'm actually up on the tractor right now. There's actually a battery in the tractor, so it's probably dead. It probably doesn't have enough power to try to start it, but I'm going to hit the foot pedal and see if I can duplicate that problem. I don't necessarily need it to start, but we'll just see what it does. So that's the problem right there. Hopefully you were able to see that. It kind of, that pinion gear wants to kick in and out, so that's the problem. It's not going to be too hard to take it apart because I had never put the flywheel cover back on after I adjusted the flywheel end play. So really, we got access to the starter right back here. It's just a couple of bolts right there and everything should come apart. I've got to take the cover off the bottom. Let me see if I can get the camera down there. Okay, you are laying under the tractor with me. This looking straight up at the bottom. You can see the flywheel over here. This is the nose of the starter. And then right here, this is the access cover that goes over the starter. So let's pop this off. Oops, wrong way. 1, 2. Let's lift this off. There she is. So I got that battery disconnected. So now we can go ahead and disconnect this without fear of having sparks jump all over the place. There we go. There, that's better. And then the last one, there's no way that you'll ever be able to see this because it's behind the flywheel. There. Got it. Phew. That went right in my face. Ugh. Okay, those 3 bolts are out. Okay, if you pound on that.
Okay, just to get it out.
Yeah. Am I in the way?
No.
Man, it's not even moving.
Let me get a bigger hammer.
Okay. It's moving.
Is it moving?
Yes, it is. That's it. Okay, that's it. There we go.
Here.
Okay, here they are. This is the one I just took out. You can see it's a little bit rusty. I'm going to clean up the flange, or that surface right there. It's a little bit rusty. I'm going to clean it up because I got to get a good ground through there. And this is the new starter that I'm putting on. This is off of our John Deere AR, and it was a little bit finicky on that tractor. Starter here But I've tried it out, and when I pull this up like that, the Bendix gear goes out and it pops into gear and it stays in gear just fine. So this one was the one that was having problems, and I don't know. I don't know what the deal was, but anyway, I do need to take this piece of copper off and move it from here to here. Okay, everything on, let's see, can you see behind me? No, you can't. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, so I cleaned up the whole surface right here with some emery cloth or some crocus cloth, whatever you want to call it. So that's clean now. And I also cleaned up, if you look here, let me flip my camera. I also cleaned up the mating surface right here on the starter that I'm putting on. So we should have good ground between the starter and the body of the tractor. So the only thing we got to do now is just lift this thing up into place. And luckily, these things only weigh about 50 pounds. So it's not like it's hard to put up in here. Okay, come on. Okay, that's pretty close right there. I think I can push it up right here. I can see up in there.
There we go. Okay, now you got it.
Got it. Okay, I got that starter all put back together, and I got the battery hooked up. Now, let's see if this one is going to be any better than it was in the past. Oh no. Okay. Seems to be okay. Well, that's going to have to work for now. I'll take that other starter home. We'll try rebuilding it. We'll open it up, clean it out, see if we can figure out what the problem is. But ultimately, I'd like to put that one back on here because this one from the AR, I don't know if it's going to be, how long it's going to last, if it's going to be much better. So let's get that thing home. Okay, here we are, we're at home. I got the starter right here in front of me, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't opened anything up, I haven't done anything to it, but this does not look good. I think this is gonna be very rusty inside. Check this out. When I removed it from the tractor, obviously it was stuck in there so hard that we had to pound it out with a sledgehammer. And I was surprised by how rusted in place it was. And honestly, I cannot remember if I ever had this this starter out of the tractor when I was rebuilding the engine and stuff like that. I can't remember. But you look right here, you know, that Bendix gear, when you pull that lever outward to engage it with the flywheel, it actually doesn't even pop back in place like you would think it should. So it's pretty gummy right there. But then I just noticed this. I didn't notice it the other day when I was pulling it out of the tractor. But just look how rusty it is. And like this band clamp or that band cover, whatever you want to call it, it's just like falling to pieces. It's so rusty. If you look right there, this is incredibly rusty. And I'm actually really pretty surprised by that because I have always had the tractor in a shop. But thinking back now at this point, when I bought the tractor, it had been sitting out in a field partially disassembled for who knows how long. The cover that goes on the bottom over the starter that we removed, that was missing when I bought the tractor. So there's large weeds and trees and stuff growing up all around the tractor. So it's probably just back from before I bought it. It had just been sitting and getting wet and rusty and just deteriorating. And I guess I never pulled it from the tractor. Like I said, I can't remember, but it must be that, I just hooked up a battery to it and pushed down the starter pedal, and it worked. So I didn't mess with the starter. I mean, wasn't really any reason to do so, but here we are today, about 12 years later since I bought it, and looks like maybe I should have done something 12 years ago when I was doing this in the first place. But anyway, let's get that band clamp off and see if we can see inside there. Oh, jeez. Oh, I'm just gonna strip that. I do not know if this is gonna work, but we'll try. If it doesn't work, then we'll just cut the bolt. Yeah, it's working, I think. Well, I don't have to cut it now. It just broke on me. Okay, let me get a light before I open that up. Okay, I tried to move you closer so you can see in here better, probably. Wow. Looking down inside there, it's actually not too bad. Based off of how much rust we had out here, I thought it was going to be really dirty down in there. It doesn't look that great, but it definitely isn't filled full of rust like I was worried it would be. Okay, now I've got to get these bolts out because I think those are what hold the whole housing and everything together. Pretty sure. I'm missing something here. This is a 7/16 inch end wrench right here, and it's too loose. 3/8. Too small. So I might see if I have a metric. I know that's not a metric size head, but maybe a metric size bolt or head, socket or end wrench will fit that better. I wonder. I don't think this is going to work. This might just be a bad idea. Well, here we go. Let's see if this works. Oh, look at that. Wasn't a bad idea at all. Now I just got to get this off. Okay, that socket worked out fine. And if there it goes. Great. So that's not too bad. It's just rusted down at the bottom. All through here, it's actually nice and clean. Same with that one. Okay. I think See, I gotta undo these right now because the cap that comes off, the brushes and things are attached to the cap, I think. So let's disconnect that. I'll take some pictures and disconnect that, and we'll see how clean everything is. See if we can get this all just taken apart. Now, with those screws, disconnecting the brushes and everything like that, should be able to just kind of use this screwdriver in properly. Oh, it's coming off. Okay, here it comes. Those do not look worn out at all. There's a lot of life left on those. Let's set that over there. So here, you'll have to excuse me because, let me wipe my hands off just a second. So I should have prefaced this whole video by saying I really don't have any idea what I'm doing. I've never taken apart a starter. I don't know what any of the parts inside of the starter are called, other than like maybe like brushes or that's about it. That's about it. So like I said, I did tell you at the beginning of this video, it was going to be a learning experience. So that's exactly what it is. I apologize if I use incorrect terminology. You'll just have to excuse me. After I get this thing apart, I'm probably going to go inside and look at a picture or a diagram of a starter, like exploded view, and figure out what these parts are called so that then I'm not making a complete fool of myself throughout the rest of the video. But anyway, let's get back to taking this thing apart. Okay, let's get this thing pulled out. There's a washer here. It doesn't really seem to be directional or anything. Okay. Here it is. Oops. Just got some rust from this shaft down inside there. I'll blow everything out and clean it out really well. But here's everything. I mean, you can see that this actually seems like it's in really good shape. All of these springs seem to be intact. Maybe this one. No? It just looks a little bit ski-wampus. But it's okay. So that's good. Let's look here. This. Oh, I probably got to take this out. Let's take that off. What is that? 9/16? Let's disconnect this. Whoa! Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, now this really is all open. Got this undone. Now, where's that go down in here? Oh. There we go. Okay. There's that Bendix gear. You can see that this gear is actually chewed up pretty bad. What's this? Looks like a lock washer that was down in there. Some paper. Well, we got it disassembled. That's going to do it for tonight for me. It's getting late. I got to go inside, go to bed. I got to get up early in the morning, go to work tomorrow. But I'll pick this up another night this week, and we get this thing cleaned up, boobed up, put back together. I don't know if that's all it needs or if it needs something else, but I don't know. We'll see. So, be back in a flash. Okay, here we are. It's been about a week for me, but only a couple of seconds for you. In that week's time, I spent some time. I got everything cleaned up, painted up the end of this starter housing where it was really rusty and pitted and everything and corroded heavily. Cleaned all that up as best I could, put some self-etching primer on there to hopefully keep that corrosion at bay, and then I'll kind of paint everything once I get everything assembled. But I also bought something. I bought right here, this is a new starter drive gear or starter drive mechanism. After I took this apart and found that the problem wasn't old, dirty, worn out brushes like I thought it was going to be, and I found out that, you know, the I think this is the commutator on the starter mechanism. That was nice and clean. There's no corrosion, there's no debris. I mean, everything's nice and shiny in there. I was like, something else has got to be the problem. So I determined that I check online and see what other people have said. And many people said that when your starter engages, spins it over, but then disengages before the tractor has a chance to fully start, it's because your starter drive mechanism is shot. So I went online and I bought a new one. This is the old one. You can see well, I'll show you up close in a second, but I went and I bought a new one. It was $35 and it varied in price from site to site. Some sites had it at like $60. Others were $35. I bought the $35 one with free shipping and free returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. So that's a pretty good deal. Honestly, I would bet money that this starting drive right here that I paid $35 for with free shipping is the exact same starting drive that another site sells for $50. Delco Remy's not making these anymore. I mean, I'm sure it's just some aftermarket place on the other side of the world that just pumps these out and, you know, sells them to all these local distributors here in the States. And they're all the same. That's my bet. So time will tell. We'll see if this holds up. But if it fails, it was only $35, and I could go out and buy another $35 one, or I could splurge and buy the $50 one. But I'm betting that they're the same part. Anyway, enough of that. Let me show you this stuff up close. I want to show you this stuff up close. This is what I was talking about. These are the brushes, and there is just tons of life left on them. All of the wiring is all in really good shape, so I'm not replacing any of those. I am, like I showed you, this is the old starter drive gear, and so there's a lot of lateral play, and there's even, I can move this, rock this back and forth. It still spins and catches like it should, but there's just a ton of play in that. This is my new one. It's identical, and there's no play. That gear right there doesn't move at all. And when it spins, it's nice and smooth and tight. I'm excited that I bought that. I think that'll be a good repair. I also bought new starting buttons. This was cheap. I can't remember, but it was maybe 10 or 12 bucks. This is the old one that I pulled off. It didn't look like it was in that bad a shape, but I did notice that down inside of here, when you press this button down to engage the starter, it was only contacting over on that one side instead of all the way across. And so I was like, well, maybe there's a little bit of an alignment issue. So bought a new one. And these are really simple because all it does is when you push this button down, it just causes this copper plate to come into contact with this terminal. And then on the other side, it comes into contact with this big copper button that sticks out of the top of the starter and then goes into, I think these are the field windings. I think that's what that's called. Anyway, is that right? Yeah, right there like that, I think. So anyway, not too bad. Everything else cleaned up nicely. And this is the, let's see if you can see up close. You can just see how, you might not be able to see very well, but how much texture there is on this portion of the starter where that band clamp went around. It's just, I mean, that's, those pits right there, those are seriously deep. I mean, anyway, so like I say, I got that cleaned up. Everything down inside there is pretty clean. A little bit of overspray, but not a big deal. So, and then this is nice and clean on here. Got these splines on this shaft all cleaned up, and there's not much wear. It doesn't feel like there's much wear on anything. I do have a set of bushings that I bought a while ago. I don't want to have to replace them, so I'm going to check and see how tightly this shaft fits into the bushing here on the end of this nose, and then on the other end I've also got a bushing right here. So we'll see how tight everything is, but it doesn't feel worn. It doesn't look worn. We'll see if we can just run with this as it is. So anyway, let's get this thing thrown back together. As far as this cover that goes over the brushes on the motor, this is just, you can see it's rusted through right there and it's just falling apart. So I'm probably going to rob the one that's on that spare starter that we have and put this one, I don't even know if this is worth saving. I'll probably throw it on that other one just to keep bugs and stuff out of it, but I think this part's trash. Okay, so this is funny. I hooked this up to a battery. These jumper cables are just running over to 12-volt battery that's on the shelf. And with the brand new starting button on it, it would not work. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So I put the old starting button on and check this out. No problems. So anyway, we're going to roll with that. I'll throw this on the shelf. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway, let's go put this on the tractor and see how it does in real life. I need to apologize, guys. I wanted so badly to be able to end this video with me putting the starter back up into the tractor and getting it going, verifying that the starter actually works, that we fixed something. However, it's not going to happen. Due to my work schedule and my travel schedule over the next couple of weeks, I know that there's no way that I'm going to be able to get up to my dad's farm. And so I'm going to have to cut this video short because I want to get it posted. I want to get it out to you. And it's going to end kind of on this cliffhanger. So please join me next video on my AN where I go out and we got to tackle the steering on the tractor. But the very first thing I'll do in that video is I'll put the starter up in place and we'll verify that it works. So I apologize. It's kind of not the way I planned to end it, but it's what's going to have to happen. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your support. And I will see you next week with another video.